What's up, you guys? You're tuned into an all-new episode of Point of View. Happy Thursday. As you can see, Janiyah is out today, but filling in for Janiyah is Bianca.
Yay,
You may have seen her in a Sonic or Golden Corral commercial. Bianca, we're so excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here, girl. It was a trek, but I'm here nonetheless.
All the way from Tampa.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
So appreciate you coming here in this rainy weather,
Girl,
for sure.
Anything for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let's hear Bianca's point of view on top of our point of view today. So let's just jump right into this episode because we have some interesting topics, okay? Now, anytime you're having a discussion about colorism, the conversation can get quite interesting, especially when you're having the conversation amongst Black people of different skin tones, because, I mean, come on, we all have different experiences, right? Well, as a panel of 4 Black women of different skin tones, let's give this topic a go. Dr. UMAR Johnson, he is, oh yes, UMAR Johnson, he is a Black activist. He said that dark-skinned Black men coon, they just basically coon all day. For more context, take a look at this clip.
So far in 2024, dark-skinned brothers, my complexion and darker, have been doing more cooning and participating in more bunny hopping and more racial betrayal than all the light-skinned men in Black America put together. Leave the light-skinned brothers alone. Leave the mixed-race brothers alone. Dark-skinned men are cooning out of control so far in 2024.
All right, well,
Cooning.
cooning, they
Out
are
of
cooning.
control.
According to Urban Dictionary, the definition of cooning basically is a Black man who prefers or praises or basically worships white women. So, I don't know, I kind of agree with him, I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
I do agree with him.
Why?
Because I have noticed that more Black men or dark-skinned Black men pursue, you know, women outside of their race, you know, more white women. That's my experience. This is what I've seen. I can only speak for what I've seen, you know.
Might disappear next to a white woman. So.
I'm crying. Yeah, so I have experienced that. I actually have a couple of friends who are dark-skinned who have told me they only prefer white women, and I can tell it's deep-rooted within them. I also have heard from Black men that they prefer white women because they don't want to produce Black kids or dark-skinned kids because they don't want their kids to go through the racial things that they've went through. So they think they're kind of saving their kids from going through, you know, the racial things that they have gone through or their mother have gone through by marrying or having a kid with a white woman. So they kind of like, you know, they think they're helping out their future generation.
I wonder if he feels the same way about like Spanish women. Like, does he feel like, you know, like how you just said, like how your dark-skinned friends they like white women because like they're trying to save like their kids.
Right.
I wonder, like, do they feel the same way about like Spanish women so that their kids, they still grow up biracial, but it's not white.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, like, you know, the full extent of everything that Dr. Umar believes, but what I do know a little bit is that, you know, he's a Pan-Africanist, so he is like, his efforts are to bring together all people that are from African descent. So I don't know if he considers the Africanism in, you know, Hispanic people because they low-key do be Black too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, exactly. So I don't know if he, you know, brings that in the fold,
Yeah, well, based off of the video, he was only talking about white women.
Right.
So, yeah, there's that.
But I feel like also part of it is like, at least in my opinion, being mixed race, I feel like there is also like a trend of having mixed children. So apart from just like trying to save them, I also feel like it's like trendy to have mixed kids.
Right.
And like I am mixed and I love being mixed, but at the same time it's like I think you should just find your person based off your person. It is 2024. Like why is that even a consideration?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that should be part of your list.
Yeah, because what if like they're a terrible person, but you're like, but our kid's gonna be good, so that's that, you know? And then you drag
that
this
all
forward.
the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they go after women or men who have like green eyes or light eyes because they feel like their child will get the same things. And sometimes it's not always like that.
Yeah.
They don't always mix the right ways.
Right.
You never know what can happen.
Okay. You don't know what's coming out of there.
You know?
Exactly.
I know a lot of people growing up that, you know, and I've heard of a lot of people that would want to pursue, you know, having a child with someone non-Black, just even for hair, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was so funny because my mom was also a hairstylist like all of my life. and she had this one client, and she married a white man, and she was like, super black. If I can say that, but I mean, she was like, she was black. She had like, kinky hair and strong black features, beautiful woman. But she got with a white guy thinking that her child was gonna come out with the most beautiful, softest hair. And when that little girl came out with the most 9-ester kinky hair, I mean, I'm telling you,
oh my
at
goodness.
10 years old, I had the time of my life because I'm privy to all of these hair conversations.
Yeah.
And so, to see the hair that came out of that, that's what you
That
get.
is kind of hilarious
That's what you
because
get.
it's like you tried to plan what your kids would look like, but the Punnett square said no. I'm gonna give you the least probability possible. Colorism. A lot of people don't understand kind of where it started. Colorism, unfortunately, started with slavery. You know what I mean? It's not even something that the Black community has created within our own community. It started from slavery, pretty much. Basically, when a white person would own slaves, right? And they would have their lighter skin, Black people inside in the kitchen, and the darker skin outside, picking cotton. And within all that, on top of all of the things that it created animosity, it created, just tension. And over time, we just kind of adopted it, and now for some reason we're still implementing it in our everyday lives, whether we know it or not,
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks that we're still living in that world and living in this super old way of thinking that we didn't even create,
Right.
Like white people created it. So I really hope we get through
so
it.
much. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's like we're advanced in some areas, and then other areas, like as far as racism, like we lack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we fall short.
Exactly.
every
Yeah.
time.
Sometimes I low-key feel like I wish I was at some of these white tables when they were making these laws and these projects, because so many of the projects that they intended to target and seclude and keep Black people confined, are really working.
Yeah.
What kind of geniuses came up with this, or what kind of fools are we?
Right.
It's crazy. Even when you think about the project, even where people live, and it's just a low economy, and just the kind of people that live there, and how they don't have any respect or pride in the place that they live, to be able to keep them confined and give them that poverty mindset, and they still be there and raise kids there, and generation after generation, they're fighting to move out of $15 rent. There's so many different things, even with this colorism stuff and just economical things, that we just will not let go. And I feel like low key, I understand some of what Dr. Umar says, but if the whole thing that he preaches is freedom, I feel like trying to tell a whole group of people exactly how to think is also enslavement in a way. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's just not right either.
No,
That's
yeah.
an interesting take for real.
I agree, yeah. And I also feel like, for me, being light-skinned, I feel like I've experienced my own discrimination in the Black community when I do say oh yeah, I'm mixed, I'm Black, and I claim my Black side, and people are like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, I am. I'm just light-skinned. I swear. Let me see my mom.
I have the
I feel like I
opposite
have to
problem.
prove myself.
I have the opposite problem trying to prove that I'm Spanish.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
So you understand, you're
Yeah.
having to literally prove how much of a certain ethnicity you are, when it's Black comes in all shades.
Right.
It's a spectrum. And
Right.
I just feel like it's hatred that was taught from slavery days that is now inside of our own community.
Literally.
It's just, I feel like it's so sad that we're just allowing the hate to continue to grow. And,
Yeah, and we're not
2024.
growing from it. Yeah, it's 2024, move on. It's so annoying. But one thing I can respect about Dr. Umar is, I know in a sense, him constantly talking about it and bringing light to it can maybe enslave people in their mind, because then they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't know. But I kind of like that he also brings awareness to it, because there's no secret that there is colorism. There's no secret that there is light skin privilege, or even there might be some dark skin privilege. It depends on your shade. I think individually, even sometimes, even me, I'm not light skinned, I'm also not dark skinned, but I still recognize that I do have some privilege over someone who may be darker than me. You know what I mean? I think that's another little thing that kind of lacks within our community, is sometimes people can't accept that certain people do have privileges over other people regardless. And it's, again, something that's just been taught from slavery times. Now, am I sitting here like, you know, saying, oh, I'm not gonna get this opportunity because I'm dark skinned and there's somebody lighter than me? No, but it is something that you always keep in your mind because it is what's going on in your environment, you know what I mean? Whether you agree with it or not.
What's wrong with them black boys dating the white women?
Nothing's wrong with it. I don't think anything's wrong with
I just
it.
be always trying to figure out why he in people's business.
Right.
What does that have to do with you?
You know, the only time I have an issue is when somebody asks a dark-skinned black or any black
And
man,
they discredit
you know,
a black woman.
they're like, oh, who do you prefer? And they're like, white woman, because black woman this. Now, why you had to bring me into it? Well, you could just be like, I like white women and leave it at that. You didn't have to bring a black woman into it. It's
I
because
agree to that point.
What did I do to you?
I agree to that point, but
Yeah.
I'm also just like, okay, they dating white women. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah, I agree. Do you guys think we'll ever get to a point where interracial relationships are like accepted among?
Yes, we are products.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're almost
Yes.
there. I feel like the majority of people are mixing. I feel like, especially like in the state of Florida, I'm like, wow, it is diverse down here.
Right.
Like, and I'm from New York,
Yeah.
and I feel like, you know, they say that mixed kids are going to be like the majority in a few years, and I do think that that will solve a lot of problems. I think that the new generation, Gen Z, is like, are you telling me who to like? Because
Right,
you're crazy.
right.
I'm not
Exactly.
listening to you. You sound stupid.
And then I also feel like most people, if you get Ancestry.com for Christmas or a birthday gift, who is 100% anything?
That's very true.
Sadly and truthfully, not even really sadly, but truthfully, and everybody just trying to push this agenda, like just be who you are.
Be who you are. I mean, it is Pride Month too. Right. That's like an insider Pride like song for sure. But you guys, we have to take a short break. We have so much more discussion after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching POV. Welcome back, and if you're just now tuning in, you're watching POV. So the year is now 2024, and you would think that racism would be dead, right? It depends on who you ask, right? Well, nowadays, it's kind of hard to gauge racism, you know what I mean? Basically, why am I drawing a blank right now? Basically, a TikToker has gone viral for getting fired from her day job because she used the N-word in a video. Take a look for yourself.
Gold diggers, but that's the exception. I'm the rule. Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass niggas.
So basically, now in a world of cancel culture, you know, I'm sorry. Now with the rise of cancel culture, we should obviously gauge and know what to say and what not to say, because it can save your butt at the end of the day. So this woman has obviously gone viral for using the N-word. She is a white woman, and she lost her job.
Good,
So,
rightfully so.
yeah.
I was hoping that she would lose a little bit more, but no, it seems like we, the people, have provided her a platform now.
Yes.
So thanks,
Yeah.
guys, for letting her go viral for her ignorance and giving her a platform.
Yeah,
Apparently,
honestly.
she's made a lot of money from liberal support after this. Yeah.
See, that's a problem because it's like, why you want to support someone who obviously has hatred towards black people?
Yeah, honestly.
Like,
yeah, and
the
someone
obvious
who
answer.
literally is like kind of unhinged in a way. Like you're not even, like you don't even care.
Her response video was terrible. She was literally saying, like, I'm not apologizing. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm standing beside it.
And on that note, we actually have a video clip of that. Take a look for yourself.
So, a recent video of mine seems to have upset members of a certain community, and all the backlash just really made me, just really do a deep dive, like do a soul search. And after all that, I still couldn't find a care.
I still couldn't find a care, you guys.
No,
Yeah.
because if you guys notice, at this point, clearly that liberal check has already been cashed. You see she's got on that little American flag t-shirt. She has got a new haircut, new highlights, eyelashes, clearly skincare, baby. That's why she's, taking that stance, because she's already begun to receive that support. So
Yeah.
now I feel like that's why she's standing on it.
Unfortunately, yeah, like Junie said, we're giving her more attention.
Yeah.
She's made so
She
much
has
money from it.
Platform
A whole
now,
platform,
where
and
she's gonna make way more money.
literally. And I hate to be like, kind of like a funnel, kind of for in a way making her a little bit more
Right.
popular. But unfortunately, this is a job I signed up for, so we have to talk about it. But nonetheless, she said what she said, and she stood 10 toes down.
She's not getting up.
Literally 10 toes
She
down.
Gorilla glued her feet
Exactly.
to the spot.
And I love how us as a community, they found her job, they called her job, they literally sent her job that video, and I'm sure they got a lot of backlash, or they probably knew what backlash would have came from it if they didn't fire her, and they did. Now, I feel like wherever you go to work, they're gonna call your job.
She don't need to work no more. Then people gonna put her up.
a new job.
Yeah, she said she plans to
Yeah.
become a journalist.
What? See, that's the problem, because when you put people in power with these opinions and they're influencing, like being heavily influential in our society, that's just teaching the same problem that has been going on for generations after generation after generations.
Yeah,
Literally.
And that's how we get more of that butch bad body.
I'm crying.
But imagine how she was talking to the people at her actual job.
Yeah,
the
she worked for an
elderly.
assisted living community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no black people there?
Right, if they were, she treated them like broke
Imagine. Imagine you send your grandpa or your grandma somewhere,
Yeah.
and you have somebody like that walking around the facility and with so much hatred towards black people.
Literally.
But
yeah.
she's supposed to be there taking care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like for me, for instance, my dad is mixed, and both my parents are Jamaican, but my dad is black and white Jamaican. And, low key, I think I grew up with maybe like a disconnect, almost turning into like a hatred for white people because of my dad's experience. He was one of 27, and him and one of his other sisters were the only black ones from his dad. So his dad has this massive legacy of white kids, and my dad wasn't like treated properly. He actually, was told that he was white his whole life until he was 16. He met one of his black siblings in the market, and they kind of said, hey, this is our mom, and he started his life from that point. So he identifies as black, but I feel like me, as a child, I took on some of that trauma and some of his experience and how he was, mistreated and misled. And so now, as God is working on me, it's hard to see videos like this because I kind of had that animosity towards white people, coupled with my own experience. Just being in Florida, it's a very racist state.
Yeah.
But now God is working on me as far as realizing that if you are in the fold, if you have Christ, if you can love all people, and there are people that aren't Christian too that are good people and love all people. And so I'm trying to find them, and God is bringing them to me. I actually had a really good experience this past weekend. I went to a Kingdom Builders brunch at a live church. Shout out to them. and it was so mixed. It was so white, so black,
Diverse,
so
yeah.
diverse. Yeah. And I had some of the most genuine, like soul-touching conversations with other people.
Yeah.
And it really made me like really humanize them,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a blessing, but I hope that.
And I like sorry that your dad had to like experience that. I mean, obviously we all have different perceptions of our experience navigating through this world, and unfortunately we do live in a world where our experience is differed by our skin tones or like, you know, and it kind of just it really sucks, but this woman has like no cultural, social awareness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wonder
and
how her
she
friends
just
feel.
freely and openly just said that like it was just okay. Like it like
as she's baking.
Yeah, literally.
Whatever she was making.
Like you had to set up that camera, and I know, like, you know, Bianca and I are content creators. So look, we like you. I know she at least had a script in her head. She knew exactly what she was gonna say. She probably cut the video
And said,
you know,
"It's the one.
uploaded
It's
it.
the
Right?
one."
You had to do a
maybe it wasn't a
caption,
script, though.
add hashtags, and then you hit upload, and then you proceeded to respond to the comments, and then you got the backlash, and then you gave that response. Like, how unaware?
No,
Like,
she's
how-
aware.
Oh,
She's
my, yeah, you're right.
aware.
How
She's aware.
racist?
Also, how strategic of her.
Yeah.
Because she knew what she was doing, and she knew she would trigger an entire community.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. She trimmed that video up, and
Right.
how many times did she have to say that word for her to
Right.
get
Yeah.
it right?
no,
it also
I don't
sounded
think
really
she did,
fluid.
though.
Like,
I don't think she did. I think she literally set up her phone, and I think that she literally was just talking. Like, she was just baking whatever she was baking, and I think she was just talking, like having a conversation with herself.
Like, she uses
that's
that
how
word
she
in her
talks.
everyday language.
Yeah,
And that's the
Yeah.
problem
but by
I feel.
herself.
Yeah.
And then she decided to make it public.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I don't feel like it gave super fluid. I feel like it.
That was
kinda-
her third
yeah,
take?
I feel like it gave scripted, and she
Yeah.
was trying to get it right because she just didn't even really say a lot of the things she was saying right, and you could tell she was trying to say the right words. So I really feel like she was trying to go viral, and maybe she was trying to get out of that dead end job anyways, and now she's got it, sadly, and you know she has the support, even though she'll get the backlash. The support, you know, may be bigger.
Yeah.
Because they're sending money, dollars. She got a new hair color.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that ain't cheap.
Them highlights ain't cheap.
What was her point? Like, what was the point that she was trying to get at? I like after she said that, I was like,
So
wait,
she,
what was
she
the
was
point?
basically talking, and literally there was no context, and she didn't even need to use that
just
verbiage.
talking.
No,
That's
she
what
was
I'm
talking
saying.
about how all of her friends are married. Like, she's like, oh, people want to talk about being married and da da da, but all of my friends are married and they're with these broke ANs, like, you know,
she
and
was
that's
talking
about
about gold
gold digger.
diggers.
Yeah.
That's where it
Yes.
stemmed from.
Yeah.
But also, okay, I'm like, what? You act like the black community don't got money too? Like, what are we
Then
talking
she
about?
said
Like, you
something
ignorant as
about
hell.
people meeting people after the club at 3 a.m., which it doesn't give she was doing any of that. So where are you getting this from? Did you get the whole story from TikTok? Is the verbiage
Yeah.
from TikTok? Like,
Yeah, where's your source?
Nonetheless, it's like the context didn't match the verbiage. You didn't even have to add that in there. She, like you guys said, I think she strategically did that. You know, I think she was looking for her moment, and she's like, this is gonna be the moment.
She got it.
And she dove into that risk, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, she is, you know, making a profit off of that risk
Yeah.
because here we are talking about it.
Right.
Do we think she got fired only because it went viral?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely think she got fired because it went viral. If it didn't go viral, they probably would have never knew of it. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people called and sent the assisted living community the video, and they were like,
Oh,
"Ooh,
as soon as it hit Twitter, it was done for.
yeah,
She was done.
like literally done."
I wonder if she got like severance. I do wonder. Like,
If
I'm
she got
not-
severance.
Yeah,
And
like,
she's probably
I
like
wonder-
sitting on unemployment right now, because you know when you get fired, you get
Right.
unemployment. It don't matter
Right.
why. Well, I don't know if it doesn't matter why, but you know.
That's crazy.
I hope
Yeah.
those liberals don't help her draft up a lawsuit.
It makes me think about you know how like you said that your father had really bad experiences with white people. It makes me think what experience she dragged other black people or anybody, any non-black person through with her thinking, because that is a deep-rooted thing. Like racism is taught, so her family had to be like that, and she was probably brought up on this way of thinking, and she probably like, you know, projected that onto so many Black people that she's experienced in her life, especially the Black people at the assisted living facility that she worked at.
And that's like a cycle, because then it's like those people who are having children or had children, now they're taking hatred. They're like, oh, I hate white people. And it just continues to divide the country.
Yeah.
It's like people just need to start treating people based off of their character, period. Because I feel like at the end of the day, on any side, it's just like judging people off of the color of their skin, whether you're Black or you're white, is, I think, like just such an ignorant thing to do, because it's like you can't make that judgment. You don't even know somebody. So I feel like it's unfortunately like a cycle that we keep getting stuck in.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like I was explaining to my boyfriend's dad, who's white, like why
It was a
white. What the problem is, like, why Black people are upset, and he was like so unaware. So I feel like it is a cycle that we have to start educating people on and make them aware, like, because they are unaware. I feel
you can't treat people based off of like your experience with other people or what you've been brought up. I feel like you should grow with your own way of thinking, you know, rather than treating people based off of what you've experienced or what you've seen on TV or what your family has taught you. Then that keeps you in a box and you stay in this like this place that's just not.
And that's
Think
what,
for
like,
yourself.
What Martin Luther King said, you know, that one day people would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. So
he was on something.
Well, you guys, we are running out of time. For sure, go follow us on all of our socials. Bianca, we were so happy to have you today.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was so fun.
You guys catch us back here tomorrow here at Afro TV. Bye.